Hey everyone, this is Dave Cohen from Guitar Tales. We are thrilled to be here, even though we are separate right now. And we're kind of making history right now under challenging circumstances. We're all trying to stay safe. We're really working through social distancing to keep everyone better, and hopefully we'll get out of this really soon. But we're thrilled tonight to have with us Dave Crum from Big Bang Baby. Thanks for joining us, Dave.
Thanks for having me, Dave.
So it took us probably about 2 or 3 hours work today. We finally figured out that Facebook no longer has the feature for multiple people to be on Facebook Live. So we'll be broadcasting this on Facebook Watch instead, and we're using Skype to record our call right now. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks.
So where are you right now? You're in your basement? You're some part of your house?
Yeah, it's a basement studio.
So this is, I mean, from what I can see from where I'm right now, this looks like a really amazing studio. So for all the folks who are stuck in their homes, at least for your music, it looks like you have a lot available to you.
Yeah, I mean, it's smaller than it looks, but it's a good size, and I could get everything I need to be done. Size wasn't really a limitation for any of the things I need to do so far. Like, I don't record live bands down here. Usually
Okay.
Lessons, and I do what I'm looking at. I do is a test with all my studio monitors and plugins and things like that. So,
Right. You told me when we were setting up, you said you're looking at a widescreen computer screen right now, right?
yeah,
That's pretty cool. And then the other thing that we talked about a little bit as we were setting up, I'm about to point to my phone right now, but to your right, you have not an amplifier, but a modeling unit. What is that?
yeah. This is a Kemper profiler down here. I have two of them actually. I've got this Kemper Stage, which is just an all-in-one floor unit, and I started out with the Kemper First unit, which looks like a little space-age toaster.
Okay.
And I started out with that, and I really liked it. And then I went to a rack unit, and I have that. You can't see it off camera, but I'm pointing at it. And I have that. It's a powered head. I could plug that into a cabinet and take that with me. And then I went and got this stage afterwards because it's still more mobile. I could take this to a casino easily, and I don't need to bring a speaker. I could just plug into the house system, and they could just give some back in my wedge up front, and I'm good to go.
So that's interesting. So you're really, as you said to me as we were setting up, you don't use an amplifier per se.
No, I haven't used a traditional amplifier. Well, I've gone back and forth. I used one for a while when I first was with Big Bang Baby. When I first started in 2013, I was using a traditional tube amp with an effects unit and a complex switching system, but it was big, it was heavy. I actually bought a van just so I could put around this thing. It was like the size of a small refrigerator.
Right.
But then that started giving me some problems here and there, so then I went back into the modeling world.
So, one of the things we talked about is that, you will be in the studio with us as soon as we're all able to physically be together at once. So we're still going to do a traditional Guitar Tales episode and learn a lot about you, but we thought this is a great opportunity to see your studio and let you kind of show off. I'm asking you to. You weren't offering to show off. But I've watched a number of your videos, and you'll notice I have no guitar in my lap right now because I'm sort of in Wayne's World fashion, not worthy. So why don't you show us a little bit about what that is modeling? What's the word that comes after modeling unit, modeling rack?
Well, modeling is, Kemper likes to use the term profiling.
Okay.
A little bit of a different, modeling units basically, and unit would be correct. Modeling units basically, what they do is they replicate all of the aspects of a physical amplifier and put that in their box, and then of how to get the sound, and what a profiling unit, which is Kemper's the first one to do this, is what they actually do. They take kind of an audio snapshot of the amplifier itself. So how they do it is they actually take a couple of microphones, and record the waves of I've never profiled an amplifier myself, but I've files by some people that know what they're doing, that's not I play them. I don't do the modeling. I don't do the profiling myself, but some of these people are really good at making great profiles of really sought after amplifiers, and it's a more complicated process, I guess, but it really just
Okay.
takes a snapshot of that amplifier. So it really sounds just like you hear a recording of one amplifier, like a Marshall CM800, and you hear the profile of that. They sound identical. And there are arguments with people like, oh, it doesn't sound like the real thing, or it doesn't feel like the real thing. And I agree this difference in the way it feels. Right now, I'm playing through this little head rush power speaker right here, and
Okay.
I feel like my Marshall amp way back there. If I don't, well, let's see it. It's not gonna sound like my Marshall 412 back. It just doesn't feel the same. It doesn't have the same response. It doesn't move the air. But when it's all going to the PA anyway, when
That's
they're
true, right?
using a speaker or it's coming out of this unit, to me, it sounds close enough where I choose the convenience, and it's all in one box too. I
Well,
mean,
you know what the cool thing is? I think you could put it through its paces and show us a little bit about what it does right now.
sure, yeah,
Have some fun.
yeah. So this is I use this as like my main lead tone, which is it's a Marshall JCM 800 that Michael Britt profiled. I use a lot of his profiles, and it's just a good solid. It's a solid sounding Marshall, and I've got a little delay there and a little boost in volume for. So it's got a bite, it's got enough hurt, but it's very clear sounding. You can hear a note, like if I play.
Right.
You can hear the sevenths if I play seven chords and things like that. You can hear all the little intricacies of a chord, a complex chord. It doesn't saturate so much where you can't hear that. So
And you
that,
could
yeah,
and you could change sounds more quickly than if you were using a physical unit.
like if I go right here is the main clean tone. So that's a obviously completely different amplifier sound. You know, if you had a Marshall, you can get a clean sound. Some Marshalls get clean, but not like a Fender clean. You know.
No, no, right, right. Fender is a much cleaner, warmer sound than a Marshall.
So that's what that's based on. It's more based on Fender. So that's that. And then I've got some really like heavily affected ones with like some delay. Some modulated bass sounds. I've got some really ambient type sounds that I've been using and experimenting with too. This.
That sounds nice. I hear a little bit of Steve Howe going on there.
Yeah, totally. I mean, and I've got a bunch of actually outboard pedals here too, from different manufacturers that further manipulate the sound for my own thing. I mean, I don't use a lot of that with like Big Bang Baby, but my own thing, which I'm really into electronic music.
Okay. So show us a little bit about that. Some of the things maybe you're working on.
Well, I've got like a Boss synth pedal here too, which is really cool sounding. I can take just my regular Marshall sound and add a sound on top of it. Turn that up so you can hear it.
That sounds great.
Yeah, it really sounds not like a guitar anymore, but that's the whole point, is to get it to sound, you know, electronic and which I really like that hybrid rock and electronic sound. I really like that. That's the style of music that I write is based a lot off of that. It's a lot of dance music, electronic dance music, and all the guitar heroes that I grew up like, you know, listening to and loving. So,
That's pretty cool. And then what kind of guitar is that you're playing right there?
this is a Music Man. It's a Steve Lukather model. Steve Lukather, of course, from Toto and
Right.
done everything. He's played with everybody. This is a really great guitar. It's got a, I think this is a walnut neck, a complete walnut neck.
It's
Like,
dark. It's very dark.
dark.
Yeah.
And the color is great. It's olive gold. And it's
Oh,
got
look at that.
holes on there. Yeah.
So
So
I saw my own reflection on your guitar from your computer screen. Kind of scary. Yeah, very scary.
yeah. So this is a great guitar. I use this in my Missing Pieces video with one of my tracks. And I every time I post that video or a clip from it on like some guitars, I go, "Wow, that's a great guitar!" You know.
Oh, it's a really nice looking guitar. And now I know that I promoted this a little bit. Apparently, you've got about 30 guitars back there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And down here, I've got a little more than half. I've got a few others around the rest of the house, but yeah.
So, what are some of your other favorite guitars you have down there?
Yeah. Well, I can show you.
One of the benefits while you're setting up of doing this kind of remote shot like this, which we can't always do in the studio,
Right.
our guests usually bring me 2-3 guitars at the most. So yeah, show us what some other guitars you've got there.
This is one of my favorites. This is a 1977, like me. This is a 1977 Les Paul Custom.
Oh, that's beautiful, man. That rich dark black in there with the white. That's really nice.
I bought it pretty much all original except for the knobs. Somebody put different knobs on it. The original had those like cap knobs on it.
Right.
But I got this about 2013, and
Okay.
I had new frets put on it right away because these guitars actually came with really small frets to begin with, and you know the frets on that by that point I was 4 years old, so they due for a change. So I put brand new frets on them, and these frets will outlast the rest of the guitar. These frets are amazing.
And then what about the pickups? You didn't do anything with their original Gibson pickups?
Yeah, I didn't change them at all. Very low output compared to, you know, some more modern high gain, less like humbucker pickups.
Right.
They're pretty low output,
But they are humbuckers, right? They're dual.
but they're way more classic rock sounding than like more modern.
It's very warm sounding.
Yeah,
I like that. But they're dual coil, right?
change them at all. Yeah, I love them.
That sounds really nice. So what else you got down there?
Okay.
Make you switch again. We're making you work today.
That's cool. This is a pretty unique Les Paul that I have too. I got this used. I don't even know where, like, who did this. And of course, it's plugged into. So this
look
is.
at that.
Yeah, somebody did this finish on it, and I got it. I saw it used in a guitar place up by me, Lark Street Music in Teaneck, and I had to have it. And it wasn't
very cool. Is it me or the body looks kind of fat? Is it just the paint job, or is it a really thick body?
Yeah, it's a Les Paul Classic, and somebody just did this really cool looking paint job on it. I did change the pickup on there. I put some more Duncans in there.
Yeah, they don't look original.
Yeah,
right.
The original pickups in the Les Paul Classics. The other Les Paul, I do have a Les Paul Classic.
Yeah, let me see that one.
This is my first Les Paul. I got this in like 1996, 95, 96, around there. First Les Paul Classic, and I put burst buckers in there too. The pickups it came with, it was way too hot. I don't know why they did that, but I don't know anybody like the original pickups that they put in the Les Paul Classic.
Okay.
I had them changed. I couldn't use this guitar was playing a telly with humbuckers too, and every time I would switch guitars, the sound man would be like, "What did you do? Like,
right.
so much louder than your telly?" So
Yeah.
I put the new pickups in. It's way better.
Now, so what other? I see a lot of Gibson behind you. What
Yeah,
else you got?
my Gibson wall. I mean, I also have outside. I've got a Flying V and an Explorer too, but I've got quite a few Les Pauls. This one I keep for my rock band, my original rock band. This is a Gibson Voodoo.
Oh, that looks pretty cool.
Yeah,
I like that.
And
Is it tuned up already? I'm sure all your guitars are tuned up, right?
Yeah, this one is actually drop tuned for play this one with my original rock band, 60 Miles Down. So it's
you want to plug it in so we can hear it a little bit?
Yeah,
that's a cool looking guitar.
This one's in drop C.
So tell us about that. What's the main reason why you're doing that?
When I joined the band, that's what they were already playing in.
Okay.
This tuning. So I just went with it. It's the main reason is just for heaviness.
Okay.
A lot of metal bands will metal and hard rock bands will tune down low. So I actually have a few songs on my own that I wrote, like the last that I came out with, Ignite the Cosmos, last year.
Okay.
In this, and I used this guitar in that video too.
That sounds very cool.
Yeah, it's heavy, and I got another Les Paul that's in the same tuning as well. You got to have a backup for everything, in case.
Right. Now, are you an SG guy at all, or you just, if you're in the world of Gibson, are you always Les Pauls?
No, I have. I actually love Fenders a lot more.
Okay.
But there's something about I love the playability of Fenders way more than Gibsons. I love my Gibsons. I love the way they sound. But I'll show you my main guitar for a long time.
Sure, I'd love to see that.
This guy right here. This guy
look at that.
It's a Mexican Telecaster that I got in probably like 95 or 96. And
Okay.
I changed the bridge. I put an American Standard bridge on there. Put Seymour Duncan Jazz and a Seymour Duncan Hot Rails in the bridge. And a coil tap. And I got this because at the time I was in college studying jazz. One of my favorite guitarists was Mike Stern. And Mike played a Telecaster with humbuckers in it. So I wanted, kind of the same idea. So I modified this Telecaster so it would sound like that. And it got me through. I could do jazz gigs on this guitar. I was in many jazz groups and funk bands with horns. And I was able to cover so much ground with this guitar. This guitar can really play jazz. It can play blues. It can play rock. Play anything with this guitar. It's amazing. Doesn't really sound like a telly much with this, but
it's an aggressive sounding guitar.
Very, yeah. But if I back off and I pull up the coil tap, it'll sound
very bright.
So I could make it tellier sounding.
Right. And it looks, I like the neck. It looks like it's had a lot of experience, that neck. I could see it's kind of, it's darkened a bit.
I did play this guitar probably most out of any of the guitars I have because it's one of my oldest guitars. And I put I'm getting mileage in this one for sure.
They're the fastest of all the guitars you've talked about, I would think, right? Like the fastest neck.
Yeah, well, they don't have much of a lacquer on this one. Doesn't have any left at all because it's been.
So you have a little more work to do with that, I guess.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's definitely compared to the Gibson. Most of the Gibsons have heavy lacquer on it. It's a little harder to to play faster. But like anything, you just get used to it. I mean, you can't tell like Slash plays plenty fast on his left ball, and he's got a record neck. Zach Wild, the same thing. There's a lot of guys that play super fast on the Les Paul. It's all we get used to. But I do tend to like the non-lacquered neck a lot.
It probably gives you a little more accuracy, right?
Yeah, in most cases. But there again, it's really how much you practice with it and how much you get used to it. But I love this guitar, definitely.
That's a beautiful guitar. So the Facebook gods have told us that we're supposed to make these around 18 minutes or so long.
Yeah.
So we're at around 20 now. So I was thinking maybe if you have anything you'd like to play for us to sort of fade out our sort of pre-show interview, and we'll still get you in the studio as soon as life gets back to normal. Is there anything you'd like to play for us?
Yeah, man. Let me play my greatest hit.
I would love that.
#1 song that I've had.
All right.
I don't really have a lot of #1, but this one is one of the highest rated songs. It's a tribute that I did to Joe Satriani, and it's called Cup of Joe.
Oh, cool.
Joe Satriani is definitely one of my main influences. And I wrote this song because it immediately, when I started the riff, it sounded like when I wrote the song, it sounded like a Satriani type song. So I call it Cup of Joe. It's a tribute to him. So got my backing track here. So all right, so I'm ready when you are.
All right, fire away, man.
Now I am gonna have to go over here for one section of the song to use my wah-wah pedal because
that's fine.
Over here, but yeah. All right, here we go. My track available everywhere.
All right.
Let me just start that over. Just test the audio and make sure it works. Backing track. All right. Take 2.
Oh, that was fantastic. You did Joe proud.
I hope so. I hope so.
You
I keep
did.
video to see if one day he'll respond.
Oh, it was fantastic. So listen, Dave, I want to thank you so much for joining us on sort of a strange times but little historic event for our show. And we're going to get you in the studio. We're going to learn a lot more about you and not just the music. But thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, we'll talk.
In every episode.
All righty. That is so great. All right, you have a great night. Thank you so much. All right, bye-bye.